morning, all. How's everyone doing on this fabulous Friday? Today we're going to be doing some GitHub review and also kind of going over my new Notes app, which I know Notes app doesn't sound like a big deal, but Obsidian, I've been diving into it and it has made me more efficient, more productive, and I'm able to do the job of about 3 people, pretty much a team of people, because of how this is structured. And I don't know if you can beat that, really. So I'll briefly go over this. Tomorrow's video is going to be over Obsidian, just because I'm so impressed with this piece of software. It's not for everybody. If you're not a Markdown person or you don't know Markdown, it's going to be a hell of a learning curve for you. But I know Markdown very well. My website's based on Hugo Netlefy, which its whole basis is Markdown. So that's kind of cool. So that's kind of what we're doing today. We'll jump into that. We'll probably do Obsidian first and then get into GitHub. I kind of want to tidy up the GitHub, maybe archive some repositories, look at some pull requests, kind of figure out what the main projects that I can continue contributing to, like Arch Titus is one, obviously the Windows debloat script that everyone uses, but there's some other ones that I really have not contributed to in the past year that much, and I need to either remove them from my pinned and look at other projects and kind of get some worthy projects in here, which is cool. And I'm trying to get my contributions up. I kind of wanted to get to 1,500 contributions this year on GitHub, which would be fun. So that's it. Hey, what's up, Iram? How you doing? Yeah, I've been using Notion too. That's like a YouTuber thing. Like most YouTubers use Notion. I hate Notion. I shouldn't say I hate it. Notion is good, but it tries to do too much, and I found myself spending more time messing with Notion and not saving time. That's my problem. I was like, you know what? It'd be easier if this is just simpler. There's no reason for me to spend that much time in Notion. And I looked at it and I was like, this is really not getting the job done for me. But that's not to say Notion's bad. It's not for me. And that's kind of where I'm at, where if you're familiar with Markdown, Obsidian's just a superior product. Plain and simple. It's extremely modular, extremely simple, or as complex as you need it to be, and it does things that Notion can only dream of. There's no way Notion can do, let's say you wanted to do a flow chart and link it to a tweet or whatever it might be. You can think it up, you can do it in Obsidian. That's why it's just a superior product in my opinion. But again, Notion has that easier barrier of entry. If you don't know Markdown, you're going to have a hard time with Obsidian. It's going to feel foreign, and you just either got to get through it and learn Markdown, or just go for it. So that's kind of where I'm at. And yeah, some people, like I see someone say, hey, let's see, I tried Obsidian, it's cool, but I couldn't find a use for it. That's learning, hey, what's embeds? You probably don't even know about Markdown embeds and how to properly use them, how to do templating, how to use like Caravan for some of your boards. If you're going to do boards, if you're going to do flowcharts, did you use the Sketch plugin? By default, the vaults and stuff in Obsidian can be a little bit, little daunting, I'd say. And this is kind of what I have, which I'll show you here in a second. But let's see what else we got. Oh, the polybar config. For some reason, the unfocused visible workspace extends past the pill shape. I think I actually just changed that, Andrew. I need to do a commit. There's an actual line in there in the polybar config. Here, I'll just show you. Just to help you out before we get too busy and get too many people in here. I want to say the center, what was it? X window. X window. Right here. this is what you need, Andrew. You see where it says max length right here, this line? Look for module-x window, change the max length to 6. I think I did 60 on mine. Change your max length to 60, and that way it doesn't push your stuff off. That was a configuration bad on my part, but that's what you're looking for to fix that pushing of the end off. And then when you get a really long title bar up here, it'll just go ... and it won't just push all of this off the screen. So that's what you're looking for in that config, Andrew. That's pretty cool. It's 8 a.m. here. I'm not much of a morning person, but live streams I kind of like to be as raw as possible, so that's kind of it. What'd your goal be with each project you work on this year? My goal is really just to have fun. That's it. I know that doesn't seem like much of a goal, but it's important to enjoy what you do and what I do here. When I took a massive pay cut to do YouTube, and honestly, I still haven't really 100%. I'm not really considered a YouTuber yet because I still have a day job. Even though I've definitely mitigated that day job down to like 1 day a week, and I've hired a replacement. That's fantastic, but I still work there. So it's kind of like an office space type situation where it's like they just keep paying me and I just keep showing up. And I have a hard time letting go of that because with YouTube, it's really difficult to do this as a business. To be a YouTuber, I think a lot of people don't realize the business implications and taking brand deals and having to create stuff for other people. That just sucks. Like, I hate that. Like, I'm gonna just be frank. That is the worst part of this, because to be creative for someone else might have a vision that you don't conceptualize very well, and then you might create it and they'll be like, yeah, no, I don't like that. And it's hard not to take that personal, even though it's just business, you know? So that's the crappy thing about this. So my thing is, on YouTube, to continue doing this, I have to have fun with what I'm doing. And that's why my channel looks super weird. Like, I pulled up my uploads the other day and I was like, oh man, I can't believe people subscribe to me. Because I pulled up like my videos and I was like, oh my god, I have ADD like a crazy person. Just look at my channel. Like, I talked about sound cards, Windows, then I went into Fedora, Debian, Arch, then I was on Chrome OS, and then I decided to talk about websites, and then I was like, oh, let's take server and put it as a desktop, and then, oh, let's talk about GitHub scripts and viruses, and then I do a product review for an Intel NUC because I wanted that NUC, and I was like, I got big plans to really turn it into a home theater PC that's just beast mode inside. But yeah, I do all this because if I just talked about one subject, it would get really old, it would get repetitive, and I would just not like making videos. And that's kind of why I do what I do, because even with all of this in here, I feel like I've only dumped like maybe 5% of my knowledge base in tech, because I've been in technology for 20 years. So that's man, I really went down a rabbit hole with that question, didn't yeah, so anyways, to have fun, and that's what it is. 10 for 10, yeah. And there's also cool stuff like Obsidian. If you know YAML too, you could actually set up a YAML headers with a data view plugin in Obsidian and just go completely crazy with it and make like your own database driven note based system that's just insane. Having said that, I don't use it in that advanced complex way. I mainly just use it for, you know, basic stuff. All right, Let's do it. Oh, thanks, Thomas. Yeah, thanks for everyone that subs to me. I mean, holy crap. If you would have told me I'm at 400K in 3 years, that's nuts. Like, what? I can't believe that. And yeah, I think the big thing is just enjoying it, and then also just being as authentic as possible. Be as genuine as you possibly can be. That's it. But man, I love you guys. It's great. Thank you all. Can I have this rice? Yes. Right now it's on Debian Titus, or actually no, I think I'd done Fedora too. I need to redo that project, which we're going to customize the pins here and probably start to do that again here shortly. So, with that said, let's get into Obsidian real fast, because I talked it up. Here is what I'm doing with Obsidian. Basic Markdown. I only use a couple plugins, even though I talked it up right before this. You can see on my core plugins, I'm really not using much. Calendar plugin, I'm not even really using that. I just wanted a calendar on the side. We can just kill that. Data view, it does so much more with the YAML files and sorting and all this other crazy stuff. But really, all I do it is for one line of code to add a progress bar onto my videos. So I'm over here. You see this giant wall of text. Oh, let me kill this line of text up here. Well, this is kind of what it looks like in preview mode. This goes ahead and gets rid of a lot of the source. And actually, I've changed my workflow a little bit to where now I don't like the live preview and I like to do source view. This is what it looks like. And I've made hotkeys to do any like checkboxes or lists, forms. So I just hit one key, like boom. If I want to add something down here. Oh, actually, you know what? This is old. I need to open this again. Did that work? Okay, cool. I was like, oh no, this isn't my latest and greatest. Yeah, here we go. Ooh, can I move that over there? Let's just do that. All right. So this is kind of how I like to set mine up, so I can do my source on one side, and you'll notice as I'm scrolling, even when the source doesn't match up, it reads it, and then the preview panel jumps up, so it stays even with your source on the left side. It's pretty darn cool. So how I've done it is just really 4 plugins. There's the templates core plugin, which is important because when I'm in my home, which if we look at, where's my home? Ah, there it is, homepage. This kind of just tells me upcoming videos. So if I want to add a video, I usually just kind of come in here, add a card. Let's say I wanted to add, oh, what do we have? Let's grab a video idea. I forgot about that. Are all Facebook employees morons? Story about Facebook. I had an interaction with Facebook that's hilarious. I don't know if it's video worthy, but I used to work at a satellite company. It's okay. The owner sold the business since, so I can tell this story. I didn't want to tell it before he sold the business because it's pretty damning of Facebook, and yeah, but it's funny. So everyone thinks of like Google, Facebook, Microsoft, and everyone that works there is like obviously smart people, right? So I had an interaction where we're building out, like, I called it the hippie bus because usually when we're building out mobile rigs for like AT&T, FEMA, 911 emergency centers, ATF, a lot of National Guard, I think was one. We did a lot of different businesses for recovery and emergency, and then we got Facebook as a client. And I was the lead engineer behind a lot of the telephony boxes. and Facebook came on, and I made it, and we put it in sent it off to them. They accepted delivery. Everything looked good. So then I started calling it the hippie bus because they like drive out into like the desert in like Nevada and stuff. I don't know what it was, but they were taking it out in a remote area, and then they were complaining about the speed of satellite. Now, this is before Starlink and all this. This would have been circa 2015, so you know, right in that era. And it's traditional satellite internet. And if you're not familiar with satellite internet, it's these satellites that kind of, it's not deep orbit around the Earth, but it's pretty far away, where Starlink is a lot closer in the orbits. That's how they get the speed and also low latency. But traditional satellite internet, it has a lot of latency because of where it's at. And I had to explain latency, jitter, and also internet speed. Facebook didn't understand how limited a lot of the actual speed of the internet. They expected to go out in like a remote area with traditional satellite internet and get 100 down and 100 up, which is not possible with old internet. Maybe with Starlink, you know, coming up, we might actually, that's actually, you know, but we're talking 7 years ago. That would have been bonkers. And this guy was super pissed. And I was like, oh my God, this guy's a special kind of stupid. He doesn't even understand latency. And all he knew is internet go fast where he's at in California. And I was like, oh, you're hurting my brain. I have to turn you over to my boss, because at this point I was just like, you can't fix stupid. So I was about to say something bad, and I was like, all right, Facebook guy, you gotta talk to my boss. Obviously maybe there was a expectation that wasn't set properly, and I'm just the engineer behind here. I'm gonna turn you over to my boss. So my boss proceeds to take the call from the Facebook guy, and he sits on there explaining how satellite internet works for you, and I kid you not, for 60 minutes with this idiot from Facebook. It was hilarious. And yeah, I mean, oh, it was just a gem. I don't know if that's video worthy. I don't know how I could possibly do that. Maybe with some diagrams or something to explain why this was so silly. But to me, it just blew my mind. Someone worked for a tech company and couldn't even understand like the basics of how internet works and how infrastructure of internet works. So yeah, just because someone works for Google or Facebook does not mean they're an intelligent person. And a lot of times it just means they're just some corporate lackey. So yeah, at least that was my experience with Facebook. It was, I've only talked to morons there. They were terrible. Oh my gosh. I forgot what I was doing. Oh yeah. I was coming in here to grab something to make a new card. Steve knows something about that. Yeah, telephony and jitter mix like oil and water. Yeah, the cool thing about satellite internet, even the old school satellite internet, the jitter on the line is actually not too bad, especially if you have good internet, which we were actually buying bandwidth through the knock we were using. I think it was out of like Michigan, because of the geolocation of the knock was really good. So it was a lot better than like your crappy what was it, Dish Network type internet. That stuff is garbage. This was actually pretty decent internet. Obviously they were using it for like a recovery operation, and it wasn't like military didn't use it, but some more residential stuff like ATF and things like that, they did use that type of internet, which is great. All right, well, let's grab an idea here. Let's say the Digma keyboard. Oh, I got a great keyboard. Let's say I wanted to do a video on Digma. I could actually come into my home, which is this little caravan card. I set it up kind of like Notion, but Notion, you can see I'm pretty basic. I like kind of simplistic, minimal setup. And let's say I wanted to do a new card, which will do Digma keyboard. which is what I use here. Love the keyboard, it's great. Been using it for about a year. And then let's say I wanted to make a note now. We'll just go new note from card. And what this does is it says, hey, let's first qualify. This is going to be a video. And I'm like, all right, cool. We can close that. And you know what? Let's open that in the reading, kind of see where we're at. So for the Digma keyboard, I do qualifying questions to say, hey, is this an interesting topic? Should I make a video about it? Will this help people? Probably. Yeah. Is this interesting? I don't know. $300 keyboard that is OS agnostic, that's a mechanical, it kind of splits, but also puts together. I call that interesting. Does it excite me? Yeah, I'm a big nerd. Mechanical keyboards does. Is it an original idea? Kinda. I bet there's videos. So, you know, probably video worthy. So then I just like, all right, qualified. Then I'm like, okay, I need to do the outline for this video. And I set all this up. I won't go through this whole thing with this one, but then I set all this up where the content I write in Markdown, and then I can just copy paste that into mine. So if we come back into our to-do, let's come back into Obsidian, and we'll just do that. I probably should open that up as a editing. So then I just continue on with this. I usually do an overview hook, something that's less than 60 seconds to say, hey, this is what this video is about right when you get there. It hooks the person, and some kind of story to tell. It's going to make you more productive. I'm pretty basic on my story. And then, you know, usually you have like some kind of issue, climax, and then resolution. And typically you want to add some of those elements, real basic elements. And then you write the content. So this is where I would take this and I'm like, all right, cool. I wrote all this. This is how it looks. That's pretty much what I want to do and make a web page for it with this template. And what I could do now is just let's launch into Codium. And we'll close that. What's my recent? I probably have a website on here. Yeah, I do. Cool. Let's add our terminal. And what I'm going to do with this copy paste from here is create a new website. So, or a new post. So we're going to go post 2022 Obsidian. Obsidian.md. So this creates an Obsidian markdown file. So we'll paste that in. This is kind of what I'm doing. Let's come back into here. Let's grab this entire folder. Let's show this in our system folder. Let's copy that. Oh, I need to fix my mouse cursor too. Anyways. And what we're gonna do is paste that guy right here. So we got our Obsidian with all our images, which I'll show you how I do that. But the cool thing about doing it all through Obsidian is you can drag and drop images in, and it goes ahead and does the entire link from that. I just made my structure for the images over on the left hand side, so then it just automatically does all this stuff. So when I go to paste it into here, it'll just show up. Which, I mean, oh, not localhost. Let's just do Hugo server now. And if we go localhost, oops, let's take draft off. Draft. All right, I am, and let's do this in Obsidian for the tag. Not networking. You know what though? I think we can put this in every OS. It's pretty agnostic. Mac OS. And then I usually grab my hook from the video that I'm gonna say and put it in here. Where are you at? So let's say that usually will be above this. This is kind of like my intro. Much like my intro in my videos, I structure my web page and how I do my design exactly the same way. So as I'm making my notes for a video, it's also pretty much designing the web page for me. You get to start to see how this basically combines 3 or 4 people's jobs into one simplistic, well, I wouldn't say it's overly simplistic, but if you understand Markdown, it's pretty darn simplistic. And you get it all in there. And if we come back here, all right, what do we have? End of, looking for end of YAML delimiter. No, what do we got? What did I mess up? Okay. What was that? What did I mess up? YAML delimiter. Oh, okay. I actually messed this up. 3 dashes. What happened there? Ah, I added a space. My bad. All right. It's like, man, leave it to a space to really mess you up. All right, coming back in. Let's reload that. Obsidian, obviously still got to do the thumbnail, but the thumbnail also gets downsized. You can see all the stuff. So I'm making a YouTube video, I'm making notes, and I'm making a web page all at the same time with Obsidian. And all my images didn't come in. Why is that? Oh, I know why. The images here, I gotta change. I think that actually should be ... images. Let's just replace. Yeah, it should do it. Yeah, there we go. So that just brings in the whole web page. It designed everything for me. I can now make a video over Obsidian, and then I'm like, hey, boom, the video be notes are vital for productivity, blah, 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 go into that whole intro sequence, and then go, okay, now there's a couple plugins I add for basic function, and that basic function is this, this, and this, and I go ahead and grab that. I'm noticing one other thing here. I changed the side to not be Google ads anymore. I got rid of Google ads. They were paying me like $4 or $5 a day. I was like, that ain't worth it. Oh, let's grab, where's my website? Let's pull that origin. So I changed my sidebar to be site sponsor. I must have done that on my inside computer or my laptop. But anyways, I don't do that. And oh yeah. So then I go through, I make my whole video based on this basic core outline, but someone could actually come and find this from Google search as well and go, oh, this is how you set up Obsidian. You basically install these plugins, add a template core so you can have templates. You can do the Caravan so you get the Notion style boards to where you can go ahead and switch through, which I didn't show too much on Notion. If we go back home, let's say I'm done with this. Bam, it auto completes it, sets it as done, and then usually I'll just delete that note after a while, because after I'm finished with it, it's been published, I can easily just come into here and you know what, I'm gonna change my default view a bit different. But once I'm done with this and I shoot it, I edit it, I have all that, and I publish all of it, I'll probably throw it in the done box for a day and then delete the entire note, because it's already published on the web. Everyone can see it, and that's how I'm going to be able to kind of get my workflow done. But it's mainly these 4 core plugins. There's the core template plugin that's not community, and then there's 3 community plugins, which honestly, homepage and data view aren't really that important, because data view I'm only using for this top progress bar, it basically is telling me, hey, when every checkbox on this page is checked, that's going to be 100%. So you really don't even need that. I mean, I just kind of did it for flair. So you don't even need the data view for if you don't care about progress bars or maybe some advanced sorting using YAML, but I'm not going to get into that. And then we have some, let's see what else we have. Caravan, that's what my home is. That's the Notion style S thing. Homepage gives you the homepage button that just takes you to the Caravan board. And it gives you this little home button. Not really needed, but I just kind of wanted a home button. And then that of you, I'm just using for progress bars. So really, most people just need 2 plugins. The template core to do the templates, which if I wanted to edit my templates when I'm making new videos, or for you, obviously, you're probably not making videos, you can just change this up and do a whole different thing. Or if something changes with your workflow, you can change that entire sequence with this template. So then on your next note that you create, it's gonna just reflect that, because every time that gets created, you can do it. If you needed like a date, you could do just like any merge, you could do these little curly brackets and then date instead of title, and it would throw the date in there when you create the note. And then editing this is all from your little settings menu, which is cool. So like Caravan, most of this is pretty basic. I don't think I changed anything from stock defaults on Caravan. Templates, I made the folder templates because I want all my templates in the templates folder. Pretty standard. And then yeah, that's it. So I'm using, I consider myself using Obsidian in a really basic fashion, but I'll make a video that's much more cohesive than this explainer was. But it's neat, needless to say, which I will do like a guide and kind of how I do all of that in one go, where I'm making a web page, I'm making notes, and I'm making a YouTube video, all using Obsidian for the most part, which I think there's power in that. I know that some people really enjoy that. Yeah, and the cool thing about that is I'm only touching the surface. Like, I've looked up probably like 10 or 20 different like Obsidian videos. I read the white papers on Obsidian, and the cool thing about Obsidian is out of every YouTube video I watched, everything was different. Everybody had a different workflow. Everybody had a different way of using Obsidian. And that is cool, because usually what happens in YouTube, I don't know if you use YouTube for like learning things, I think that's what the power of YouTube is. But a lot of times you go to look up something and it is just a copy paste. But it doesn't matter who does the video. It's just copy paste, copy paste. Everyone just regurgitates the same thing. But with Obsidian, what I found when I was looking up all the different videos is everybody used it differently. Everybody used different plugins. Everybody used different workflows. Everybody used, it's so cool. And then as I started kind of going, oh, I like that. I like that. I like that. And then I got to the end and I was like, wow, I use it way different than all of these people. And it's just a cool program, because you adjust it to what your workflow is. And it's neat. Anyway, let's get into GitHub now. I know that's like the main thing. I kind of want to look through this. Out of these 6, I don't really use Titus Awesome anymore. That was a Lua thing. Titus Pi, I'm going to leave because I'm about to change that. So let's change that. We're going to get rid of the pin for Titus Awesome. I probably will switch this out to, let's see, what other big ones? Probably Fedora Titus. I use a lot. And then my Vim. I need to cover Vim in the future as well, because I need to update my Vim. And yeah, that would be cool. Let's save that out. And now let's look through our scripts here just to see how some of them are doing. We'll start with the Win10 script just to see. Got a lot of pull requests here. Yeah, every time I pull this up, I'm like, oh, I gotta change all this. I'm pretty much gonna close almost all of these pull requests, mainly because I'm gonna redo a huge portion of this script, like a huge portion. Let's see. Yeah, the allergies have been terrible. All right. So like Libra Wolf. Oh man, what did all those change? Let's take a peek. Service disabled. Why? No. License manager. This is a service disabler. That's just a regular script, not a big deal. My reduction. Q-Wave, print notifier. I could see those. It doesn't even pull from this PS1 script though. That's an independent script. He's linking to his. This is a bad pull request. I hate it when people give me pull requests and they put like their own stuff in it. Like, I'm not gonna link back to you. I'm not gonna take your stuff and then on the main project link to your project. Like, no. Ugh. Learn how to do a pull request. All right. Moving on to the next pull request. Ooh, let's see. Fix 299. Let's see if this is anything bad. Ooh, simple pull request. Oh, thank God. Somebody. Yes. All right. Let's look at this pull request. Current build showing task manager details. Ah, yeah. I like it. He added it. If then current build is less than 22557, which I think is like 20H2. I could be wrong there. Show task manager details. This is actually removed in a later version. And then stop process text manager. Nope. Preference 0. Set task manager to binary. Else. Task manager patch will not run in builds due to bug. Dude. Knocked it out of the park. Beautiful. Merge. Gorgeous. Thank you. That's a good one. Probably need to run a VM for this just to make sure we don't mess up anything. Do I have a Windows VM? We're gonna have to install Windows. Come on, connect. You gonna connect? No? Oh, there it goes. All right, let's do local install media, images. We'll throw in, what do we want? Windows 11? V1, sure, what's that? Let's go 6, and we're gonna go 1024. Why I'm doing a Windows VM is I just want to, I think that's Windows 11. I want to test this script as I do it. I don't want to do commits and then do like 5 or 6 pull requests and then go, oh crap, the script doesn't work anymore. Which pull request was it that screwed this up? So let's see how fast we can do this. We'll put this in workspace 5. All right. Can we blow this up? Yes. CT Boomer Tech. Yeah. Oh, baby boomers. It's funny how they call Oh, that's right. Oops. Well, Windows 11, you stay classy. Yeah, sure, whatever. Let's go shut down first off. Let's fix this. Boot options. I guess TPM. Let's emulate TPM. We need to change the CPU topology. Or actually, I think it's hypervisor details. We need to change that. I need to remake. All right, one more time. With feeling this time. All right, we're gonna go just Win 11, please. I'll grab. Throw about 10 gigs at this guy. Do that. Customize before install. We're gonna change this guy to be 44 and do UEFI. I guess I could leave it on Q35. I usually change that to let's give it a go on that. And then let's grab our TPM chip to emulate. So now we're booting UEFI and TPM. Give me Windows 11 now. I do all my testing on Windows 11 these days just because I think most of the people have already switched. All right, let's see if we can now install. Hey, Don, how you doing, man? Ah, you missed my Obsidian rant. I needed to... I'm gonna actually need to switch up my thing. I meant to tell you, Don. Oh, minimum system requirements not there. Maybe I do need to switch the architecture to 1440. Or that, yeah. Come on. Oops. Virtual machine, force off. Yeah, guess I could change this. Let's see. Oh, it's disabled in preferences. I might be able to change that, but I don't know exactly what the machine is. I'm just gonna delete it. It's fine. Let's all right, Vert Manager. Yeah, use TPM 1.2. Okay. Yeah, I can do it in Registry Editor. I just kind of want to make sure it actually stays up to date and can run updates. Bypassing it is a quick break fix. I'd rather just get it done right the first time. You can tell I haven't been doing very many Windows 11 VMs. You know. That's all right. And then somebody said use TPM 1.2. I feel like this should get us the right emulate. Oh, you know what it is? I think it's a package we're missing. Let's see. Prerequisites. All right, processor, blah, blah, blah. Blah, blah. Install known boxes. OVMF. Ooh, I think that's what it is. Yeah. we need to grab OVMF. No, no, that's already installed. And then, oh, let's try the tools. I know we're missing, yeah, I think this is the emulation that we're looking for. No, that's already installed too. I don't think I have to do that. Yeah. I think that's actually should be SW. Weird. Okay. And then known boxes next, blah blah blah, create, they are doing emulation on 2.0. He's using Q35 and sec boot. Oh yeah, it wants secure boot. That's right. Okay, I was using the wrong one. That was my problem. Of course. Such a bonehead. All right. Q35. We needed sec boot. And then this. Remove. Yes. TPM. 2.0. 2.0. That should get us what we need. Oops. Come on. All right. Bam. All right. Now we're cooking. I know. I've been starting earlier, guys. I'm sorry. I've been trying to get a start on the day to be a little more productive, because I've been doing my 3 videos on this channel, and then on Titus Tech Talk, I'm going to start up and try to get back to 1 video a week over there. Just keep ramping up my production schedule, trying to be a little more efficient, and then obviously the Friday live stream, can't miss that. Oh hell, why? I think I actually got to log out on that. Was that? I'm about to just say forget it and just do Windows 10. I really don't care. I don't really want to log out. Is that bad? Yeah, that's probably bad, but whatever. Let's just use Windows 10. I don't care. I'm sure it's something silly, but for this purpose, yeah, it does not matter. Images, where's my Windows images? Oh, hey, LTC. Yeah, let's do that. I haven't done an LTC in a while. Ooh, you know what? I can't do LTC. I'm actually just, not very many people will be running that. Windows 10 21H1. Do I not have a up-to-date Windows 10? I guess I don't. Let's go. Yeah. Oh, they haven't updated to April or any of the newer versions. Interesting. All right. I can't remember if 21H1 I don't think is November 21 though, from what I remember. Could be wrong. Oops. No, go back. Why you gotta be this way, Windows? I'm gonna go get some more coffee. I'm almost done with this. Swear, I usually just grab the... Oh, there it is. Yeah, 21H2. I was about to say, I was like, 21H1? That doesn't seem right. Oh, that's true. Yeah, it doesn't really differ that much from Win 10, but LTSC does pretty much get rid of the Microsoft Store, which my debloat script interacts with considerable amount. And I would need to make sure I don't break the Microsoft Store. That is the main issue there. Sam! Switch to Endeavor OS from Win 10, but need to stream games from Win 10, Blizzard, GOG, Steam. Totally get it. Any suggestions for doing this cleanly, locally, without a cloud service? Well, if you have a secondary computer, you could just set up Windows 10 for that. I still am using it on my system, Nick, which if I look... Actually, I'm going to move where this shows. Here. Block that. So what I usually do, Nick, is cancel, quit, cancel. I usually just do Moonlight. Is Moonlight not on here? I don't even have Moonlight loaded. File. Good night. What a hot mess this stream has been. No. Wrong button. Oh, Notion's still on my home button, too. Flat hub. Alright. Oh, let's grab Moonlight. Moonlight. Ah. Yep. Yes. So I have a secondary Windows 10 with an NVIDIA card, and then I set up game streaming. And then I'll just come into here. Usually I have it in like, let's throw this to title 3, and we'll launch Moonlight. Cannot pair. Oh crap. All right, well, 1 second. Ramina. Dang, I have not set up a lot of stuff on this. Ramina. Get me in. All right, to set up Moonlight, you're about to see. I don't know if there's any security issues for doing this, but oh well, whatever. We're gonna do it anyways. Oh wait, not Moonlight. Ramina. We're gonna do VNC into our Moonlight PC. Let's just save that password. Yeah. Oh, let's just quit that. Let's scale that, please. Oh, all right. Yeah, sure. Install that. Update my old RoboForm. Wait, we needed a... All right, well, whatever. What else do we... It's been a little bit since I've used my Moonlight system. Just kind of stays on in my rack. Yeah, sure. Download that. I thought I had NV Clean install on here, do I not? NV clean install. Oh, no. Since I'm using GameStream, I didn't do an NV clean install. So anyways, you come in here, you enable game streaming right here, set it all up. This is all the games on this system. What have I been playing lately? I've been playing Diablo 3 lately, actually. So anyways, let's just go ahead and update this. May even do a reboot here, but once this driver updates, we'll interface with it. Ooh, this is a good question. What we got? Why did you split your workflow into 3 PCs instead of virtualizing it all on one? Great question, Nicholas. One, Mac OS and the M1 chip for virtualizing sucks. Like, you can virtualize Mac, but you're going to lose so much performance. It's just easier to use an M1 that can give you maximum rendering capability. So Mac OS, it's no secret, I don't like the aesthetic look of Mac, and I don't like its environment that much. It's a very predictable environment. It's not to say it's bad, but what I like Mac for is Final Cut Pro and video rendering. I feel like it is by far the best, like not even close to anything else. Like, if you're using any other program, I feel like you're working at a disadvantage to me. So using Mac with Final Cut Pro, pretty much non-negotiable. You're gonna definitely, you could emulate a Mac OS and then even pass through a GPU. Let's say a Vega 64, I think, is what a lot of the big Mac Pros, like the 6000 Mac Pros, use. You could probably do that, but an M1 chip is going to render probably 2 or 3 times faster than that configuration. So I don't want to work at a disadvantage, so I have that over in its own thing. So there's one workspace that I'm in when I'm editing videos. The next, Windows. Games. Linux can game some, and it's getting better every day, but it's still, and you're still a second-class citizen in the gaming world. There's going to be times you're going to need Windows to game. So you kind of need Windows. So you got that. And then Linux. And some people are like, well, just use Windows if you're going to go to that trouble. Why have 3 operating systems? And to that, I say, Windows is a bloated mess. I mean, obviously, I've made a debloat tool. I've used Windows for 20 plus years. I know the most about Windows. And it just keeps getting worse. And that drives me crazy. And I hate how it's constructed. The kernel is archaic. How it is, I just don't see a future there. And I love being in Linux the most for productivity, ease of use. Well, I shouldn't say ease of use. Just general purpose utility. I feel the most comfortable in Linux now, and I'm the most efficient when I'm not in those other workspaces. Those other workspaces are very specific in their usage. So for Windows 10, gaming, really, or Windows 11, whatever, pick your poison, I don't care. Pretty much the same thing. So that's why I have 3 workspaces and why I use all 3 pretty much on the daily. I would say Windows, when I run into problems or some compatibility issue with Linux, I'll usually use Windows. And that's just because I'm the most familiar with Windows. And then for Mac, editing, really. And then Linux for pretty much everything else. So that's kind of why I split my workflow. Pick the best thing for what you're doing. And it just depends on what you are as a user. Now, there's some people that just, this doesn't make sense to them to do 3 workflows. I'm not saying this is for everybody. Most people don't need to edit videos, so they don't really need Mac. Most people, if they're just gamers and they only use PC for gaming, they're just going to use Windows. And for those that just want a fast, efficient system and customize it to their needs, Linux has you covered. So it just depends on what you're doing. And that's kind of where I'm at. If I wasn't covering such a broad scheme of different people's skill sets, I wouldn't really need these things. But I remember when I was just using Linux for everything, I was working at an extreme disadvantage when it came to video editing, when it came to gaming. Obviously, the compatibility just isn't there compared to the Windows counterpart because everything is made for Windows. And then, obviously productivity and other things, Linux just killed, man. It's great. So there you go. 3 things why you'd use each one. And to some, they'd be like, hey, I use Linux for video editing because I have a DaVinci Resolve set up, and my hat's off to you. Great. DaVinci Resolve, if that works for you, go for it. I've used DaVinci Resolve, I've used Premiere, I've used, Filmora, I've used Kdenlive, I've used, you name an editor, I've probably used it. And Final Cut just leaps and bounds better than most. And I just want to say, I don't really like Mac OS. It's just, I tried all these other ones, exhausted every option, and then when I tried Final Cut, I was like, oh, a monkey could do this. This is really easy. What am I doing with my life? I'm literally spending hours of time for something I could do in like 2 minutes in Final Cut. So that's just it. Don't be inflexible with your OS choice. Use the right tool for the right job. Man, I am rambly today. It's gonna be interesting when I try and record a video later. Yo! Oh, good morning, bud. Oh, yeah. Oh, okay. Gotcha. Good luck with that. I think you get good stuff. Yeah. Oh, hey. All right, bud. I love you. Good night. All right. Alex, you're rambly. You need more coffee. True. I got some water too. Windows virtualization with a GPU would not be better in terms of latency than Moonlight. I would say, Nicholas, like probably the best setup, if I had to do it, I would probably do GPU pass-through if I didn't want to separate it out. I think you do lose a little latency with Moonlight. I know you do. So for the most optimal setup, truly, you either dual boot, or if you have extra systems, or if you have extra GPUs, which these days really GPUs are pretty much the cost of a system, I guess you just take an extra GPU and you can do some PCI pass-through as long as your motherboard supports it. I don't really do PCI pass-through videos, mainly because most people just don't have the skills to set it up, and it's dicey at best. Like, I've set up PCI pass-through a handful of times, and some motherboards break out your GPUs into different IOMMU groups really well. It just depends on the chipset of the motherboard, and other motherboards don't. and then you're just like, well, all right, this motherboard's terrible for virtualization. And there's no real good database to say, hey, this motherboard's perfect for IOMMU groups, and this one isn't. Some can be fixed with certain scripts to break it out further. Others are just, doesn't matter what you do. I think I had an ASRock motherboard that just, it didn't matter what I did. I literally spent 8 hours on it, breaking out and trying to fix its grouping, and I just never could. And I was like, all right. And then I used a gigabyte motherboard for one of my groupings, and I was done in like 30 minutes, you know? PCI pass-through in virtualizing Windows within the same box so you could stay in Linux and then just like launch a Windows VM to game is definitely doable, but mileage will vary drastically. That's why I don't really do videos about it, because you're talking in mainly like a fraction of a percent. It's so niche that you just don't know. And then it also depends on the hardware so much that you're just like, well, I don't know if that's even worth it. For me, a lot of times I just end up doing Moonlight. Speaking of which, where's my Ramina? Let's just add this main PC protocol VNC. I usually do like VNZ with it as well. Because it's a headless machine, I don't have a monitor hooked up to it. User password. Save and connect. Alright, and then let's put that in workspace 4. Well, let's scale that back a little bit. Login. All right, now we have updated NVIDIA settings, and it also ran a couple updates. So we'll come back to Moonlight. 5606, and then we come into here and go 5606 to connect our shield request, and then we're good. So this is like the initial setup of Moonlight, so maybe there's some value here for those that want to see it. And now, all right, we're quitting out of everything. So now that that's all set up and this is officially set up, you don't have to do that every time. Obviously, that would be a nightmare. One-time deal. So now that this, because I installed Fedora and I just never used Moonlight on this system. So I haven't been playing many games. So now we can start our Windows desktop properly. And you'll see this brings it in and then just kind of makes a real cohesive experience to where people don't even know that, oh, what is happening here? I got a black screen. What? Something it did not like. Z, no. Q, nope. Q. Oh, I'm not good. Not good. TTY we go. All right, I needed to look at those settings a little bit more. All right, PS, aux. Oh, I need to set up my console so people can see this. 1 second. What's the console setup in Fedora? Let's, I'm just gonna fix this. Grep Moonlight. Let's do a PS kill Moonlight. Oh no. Let's just do a kill all -9 Moonlight. All right, cool. That's good. So then if we come back, there we go. Yes. Then we could do a mirror. Okay, yeah, it's back. I don't know what happened there. Let's launch Moonlight again. Let's look at the settings. Maybe I had some weird... Oh, okay. Need to do 1440. Let's do borderless windowed. I think the rest of this looks pretty good. All right, here we go. Now, let's relaunch. Let's see if it freaks out this time. Ah, there we go. Okay. Helps if you have the right resolution. All right, now people won't be able to notice the difference, but if we do like unhook the mouse, we can still flip around and be in our Linux and then have our Windows at the same time. Anyways, the initial setup of Moonlight is always an interesting one. But that's kind of how I did that specific thing. Forget if there's something in Windows. Oh, yeah. The whole purpose of this was to run the script. Originally, I was going to do a VM. Man, what a hot mess this stream has been. Maybe that's why I started doing my streams a little bit later in the day. All right. Let's test our GitHub script. Yeah, I know, Peter. First, you have to update, and everything in Windows requires a reboot. Oh, that's so backwards. Yeah, if things lock up in Windows, you just reboot. In Linux, you saw like things went really far awry, but I could just drop the TTY and then just kill the rest of the processes that was causing issues, and then I just jump back into my desktop from console, which again you can't really do in Windows. So there's some cool stuff there. All right, let's de-bloat this Windows. We just did a commit. We'll just do a de-bloat of Windows. Copy that guy. Launch into our PowerShell. We'll paste that in. It looks like it's working just fine. Let's do the essential tweaks. See if anything blows up. I am also going to do, you see how the scaling is all jacked up on this? I'm trying to convert WinForms to WPF. I just have to learn the WPF syntax and language. I think it relies heavily on XML, and I'm not real familiar with it. So it's something I'm going to have to learn, but that's one of the next big updates to my toolbox here, is to do full-on WPF, which will give it like a more tabbed look. It'll be real dynamic, and it'll adjust to scaling, where WinForms is more legacy from like Windows XP era, I think, and WPF I think came out in, I want to say Windows 8 era is when it started really relying on some stuff. And the reason why I use WinForms or WPF, some people are like, why not just use like VS Code or something? I want to get away from compiling, and I don't want executable or closed source stuff. You can still do open source and do a compile, but I really like drawing all of this in a PowerShell script and then making the application before your eyes. That doesn't require a compiler. So I think that's an amazing setup. WPF is just not very well used or utilized that I've seen in a lot of ways. So that's kind of why I want to do it that method. It's a weird, obscure method, I know, but I love creating stuff that is unique in that regard. But this did work, so we can quit out of it. Cool. Let's quit that. Come back into here. Get back to GitHub. Oh, get more sleep? Yeah, maybe when I'm dead. Oh, yeah. I did later streams because of that. Yeah, Don, I'll probably go back to 9. No, we've done it. I try to get, I like getting up early so I can get more of the stuff done out of the way, but I don't know. I guess I should work more on the early morning things. It's best not to do anything creative right when I wake up. It's best to do something that is like set in stone. Like business admin stuff would be great because 1 + 1 = 2. And that never changes no matter how much sleep you have. And like more analytical stuff that is just kind of set in stone. So I probably should do that right when I wake up and knock it out. All right, getting back to our pull requests. Batch installer for Winget. Ooh, what is this? I like the way Win gets installed. What's he doing? Looks like he's getting a Wim object. He's invoking it from here. The problem with using this is a lot of times this will change. Like anytime you do like docs.microsoft.com, I can't tell you how many times their URL syntax has changed on me. I've made scripts and then they just break it. Also, their GitHub, they're no longer releasing versions on their GitHub with an MSXI bundle. That's why I'm doing the MS app installer. So this is actually a bad one, but wait a second. He's doing more. The main portion of the script, like this first part with Winget is bad. I would actually not install Winget this method. This is how I actually used to install Winget, was directly from their GitHub, but it's not the proper way anymore. This batch install though, what's he doing? Oh, yeah. He's literally just installing everything. Holy mackerel. That is not... What? He added my comments as an installer, too, for applications. That's just lazy. Nope. This one, not the proper way to install Winget, and the batch installer has no configuration with yeah, that was the yucky. Has no configuration with selecting apps. So close. We will not merge that. But that's okay. I mean, and sometimes, you know, it's not that I don't want to discourage people from pull requests. I want to try and teach people too. So if it is a bad pull request, I'll try and say why it's a bad pull request. It's funny. Someone wrote yuck as they would do the pull request. Let's see. Individual scripts. This is interesting. A new script, block ads. Grabbing a host list and putting it into hosts. I don't really like host blocks. It usually flags the script as a virus anytime you edit etc hosts. If you're not familiar with how Windows works with hosts will it's a pre-check before it hits DNS. So like, let's say you want to resolve google.com, it will resolve to its IP. That's what DNS does. However, before it hits the DNS, it will check your host file, and if it finds that domain and a corresponding IP, it will deny it. I don't really like to block it through the host file. It's kind of like a real hacky solution, and also many viruses do it that way. So most virus checks will false flag you, false positive when you do it through a host. CT Tech Group license, that's fine. Most of these, like, they're deleting individual scripts. I guess you don't really need any of those. I'm fine with that deletion, actually. And block ads is probably not going to even be run. All right, let's get into the meat and potatoes of this one. What are we doing for this? Game DVR enabled. Hex value. That looks like a weird value, but I'll allow it. More game DVR crap. 0. It looks like he's zeroing this out for the most part. Except for V. That's interesting. Reducing RAM via regedit. Alright. What else we got? Again, nothing too bad here. So far it looks good. Moving through system profiles. Wait to kill service timeouts, fine. Desktop, these are just menu delays, more performance than anything. I don't think it's going to save much in RAM, but again, I allow it. It's an improvement, albeit a very, very small one. Windows Defender, disable anti-spyware. I take this out mainly because, again, the tamper-proof for Windows Defender is real egregious, and it's going to cause a lot of issues with the script getting flagged. But I do like to disable anti-spyware. But again, I'll probably take that one line out, but that's okay. Let's keep moving. Blocking IP telemetry. That's fine. It's an interesting way of doing it. We're writing a host file through here. Here is the array. Ooh, oh, he's doing it through NetSH. I like that. That is the clean way of doing it. See, instead of using a host file, this right here, that's slick. That's slick. I like it. Doing a NetSH to write an advanced firewall rule to block the telemetry is that's slick. I love that. And then that's it. So really, the only thing I would change out of this, let's edit the file. Ah, crap, I didn't look at what line that was. Let's cancel. I'm gonna sit here and search forever if I don't. This actually is a good pull request. See, this is why I love GitHub. Yes, you'll sift through probably 5 bad pull requests before you get it to a good one. Where are pull requests? Here we go. So what I'll do is, I don't think I can edit that directly. Where's that Windows Defender? Line 1080. That's easy to remember. Edit file. Line 1080. And we will remove that line. We'll just comment it out, right? And then we'll add a comment just in case Brandon checks his pull request here. We'll do disabling anti-spyware flags script as virus, and also doesn't work with anti-tamper measures introduced in 20H2 plus. And that should get us commit changes. We're going to change that around just a hair. And now when we look at our Windows Defender, refresh. Now we should see it line 1080, that change. And go to conversation. And we got to merge. Sweet. Successfully merged. Now, let's pull up our windows, rerun our scripts, right? Give advice for learning Java from scratch. I don't know Java. I know enough to blow stuff up, but that's about it. No, I really can't. I'm more of an infrastructure guy. Sysadmin's kind of my bag. All right, we're gonna do our essential tweaks. Let's see what happens on this side of things. Did that, huh, 1 second. Let's unhook our mouse. When we merge this in, let me take a peek at where that was. Using regedit to improve RAM performance. Was there any other write hosts in here? I don't think there was. So let's look for using regedit to improve RAM performance. Should be right in here. I don't think that refreshed quite yet. Let's close that. Close that. You know what? We have one thing I like about Windows 10, like the one thing that I'm like, yes, I miss this Windows terminal. Is terminal. just terminal. That's really the only thing I really care about Windows 10. Let's go defaults. I love the appearance of it. Oh man. Let's go 14. Background, cursor, transparency. Gosh. Like 75 should be fine. Yes, save. Yes. Alright. Give us a little bit of transparency, make that look beautiful. Okay. Now, hit essential tweaks. Just want to say I want to see that right host of using regedit for. Man, am I missing that? Polybar config Linux gamer. Check your X resources and X nord. It should be in your root of your home folder. That's what you're missing. How do you take care of your eyes, especially with all that screen time? I don't. You got you just I don't know if the eyes actually degrade. I got LASIK like 10 plus years ago, and I don't know, my eyes are still 20/20 after all my screen time. So I'm not sold that LCDs actually affect your eyesight, because I should be a pretty good case study. Probably 10 plus hours on screen time per day for 10 plus years, and my eyes are just fine. So take that with a grain of salt. But yeah, no problems here. All right, so this is not looking like does not look like that went through. Let's take a peek through our script here. We're gonna actually just pull this into here. Let's just grab that. Oops. Nope. We'll just do Notepad++. Ooh. Alright. Where is this at? Essential tweaks, yeah. It's there. The right host should say using regedit to improve RAM performance, and you should also see disabling ads in host file. And yet I do not see that it did update and use that. Interesting. It must have been like queuing some of that. Closed. I have a bad tendency of closing like terminal. Oh yeah, I ordered Steam Deck on the day of release. I just haven't gotten mine yet. What distro do you recommend for fast boot times and a comprehensive GUI? Whatever you're comfortable with. And you can do that with anything. Yeah, I'm looking at pull scripts right now. I was just going through some of the pull scripts. Ooh. Oh, yeah, we broke it. We broke it at it. This is why. Yeah. All right, we broke it. Let's fix it. Let's go pull up old Codium. And let's do GitHub desktop. Oh, I don't even have my repo here. There we go. File. Oh wait, no, that's website. I don't always test code, but when I do, I test it in production. That's totally what I'm doing right now. Oh, fired. All right, so I like the pull request, but yeah, it did not like some of this. Yeah, we're just gonna clean up some of that. And you know what? I don't like this right here with disabling this in host file. I already talked about that. Oh, let's clean that up. We already talked about doing that. I'm going to remove that comment, mainly just because having that in there, some people will be like, oh, that's bad. Let's remove that. What else we got? All right, terminal, new terminal. Is that auto-saving? Yeah, that's auto-saving. Oh yeah, I can't run that here. We're just gonna have to commit it. I'm pretty sure it's good. Let's fix pull request. Bad PR. We're gonna fix bad PR. Push. All right. All right, let's see if that grabs it. That's weird. I wonder if I can, it just takes a little bit for GitHub to distribute that out. Oops. All right, fix bad PR. It's committed there. Let's just try that again. I wonder how to flush the cache in PowerShell. I don't think I've ever done that. What is the most helpful thought, feedback, etc. you were told when you found out about content creation? I guess just to do it. Oh, hey, Vashinator. Actually, I watched a video of yours, man. Not too long back. I think you just did a video on Obsidian. Surprisingly. Let's see. Yeah, man. But yeah, no, I actually watched your video on Obsidian. I think someone actually sent that to me. And I would say the best thing I can say is just make. Don't overthink it. After watching your Obsidian workflow video, I would say the biggest thing is I think you're just overthinking it. The biggest thing is just going out and doing it and then getting the reps in, you know? That's the big thing. So many people are always trying to think, hey, what is this? And really, when it comes to content creation, it is just getting it in. For me, that entailed just making a video every single day, and I did that for an entire year. And I don't know if I'd recommend that, but for me, that's what worked, because when I first started, I didn't understand audio, I didn't understand video. I was using like a webcam with like a Razer headset, and that was 3.5 years ago. And it's really just about getting that practice in. And then whoever finds your videos, typically they'll like a certain thing, and you just make more of that. And then I like to expand out because I don't like to be pigeonholed into one thing. So usually I try to find something else I'm passionate about, kind of sprinkle that in every once in a while, and then give the stuff that people want in there. For me, Linux is what ended up taking off, and then Windows debloat. Both those are probably my two things. If I ever needed to like view farm, I would just make videos about Windows debloat, and then also Linux videos, mainly because those two things really are fun to make videos about, but also people like to watch those videos. But I still like to sprinkle in weird stuff here and there just to kind of have fun with it, you know? That's the big thing. But the big thing is not overthinking it. There's never going to be a video that you make and you're going, you know what, this is going to be a banger. This is going to kill. And then it does. Usually it's the stuff you never even think of. And usually it happens like 6 months after you make it, at least for me. So that's what I say. But yeah, keep doing what you're doing, man. You're doing a good job. I liked your video, especially the one over Obsidian. And wish you luck, man. It's just about the reps and doing it a bunch. Oh, I know. I love Stream Beats, man. You can't beat Stream Beats. It's copyright free. Harris Heller. I like to give him a shout out every stream. I'm just like, yeah, this music's awesome. Yeah, and you know, it's also, you know, you gotta love what you do. Like you don't want to. I think a lot of people, when it comes to YouTube, is they try to please everyone else, and it's important to make videos for your audience, but it's also important that you still stay passionate about it, because the worst thing you can do is just make videos for other people and burn out, and then you just quit. And that's what happens to many people. That's why I bounce around a little bit. I know it seems like I'm ADD, and frankly, it does cost me a lot of views and other stuff, but it's how I keep it fresh for me. Because if I don't, I'm just going to go insane and burn out. And you just don't want that. All right, let's see. Did we get it? Hey, all right, cool. My fix went through, and let's do some essential tweaks. So we used some of that PR, and it worked pretty well. We should now see blocking IP telemetry. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. We've got a lock. Oh, no. Oh, that was a bad PR. Oh, dude. That sucks. Oh, boy. Do not run my script right now. Oh, no. I did not check that. Oh. Bummer. That's a complete bummer. Yeesh. All right, let me think how to fix that. It would be the IP telemetry. He blocked more than IP telemetry. He blocked all the game streaming crap. Bruh, not cool. All right. Your telemetry really messed things up. Dude. All right. We'll fix. I'm determined to use something from this script. This pull request. I still like most of it, but less and less, more and more getting chopped out with every single day here. Oh man. Alright, commit, push. Let's go fix our stream PC, shall we? Tell me it didn't. Did it block my VNC too? Oh, you a-hole. Oh, man. What did you change in the host file? Gosh. Sometimes I hate dealing with pull requests, and I'm just like, I'd rather just code it all myself. There's nothing more demoralizing than getting a bad pull request. How in the hell did you block VNC? Like, did you just blanket block? Did you do like a local host block of all of 127? Oh. Bro. Yeah, I know. I should have done it on a dev branch. On my Arch Titus, I have someone that does it all the commits to the test branch, and it's great. All right. Oh. Well, anyways, I've already replaced all that. That sucks. Are you kidding me? That's okay. It's all right. Let me grab a cable real fast. The C cable, please. The HDMI. Alright, give me some. Man, that's some BS. Can't believe it. Ah! Already one in here. Already have that. Oh, is it number 2? What do I got? Man. Ah! I got a secondary monitor I'm flipping between. Luckily, yeah, I got it on the rack, so it's not that big a deal. It's just a pain in the butt is what it is. Alright. That should be wf.msc. Windows Firewall MC. You can't see this because this guy decided to block the world. Jackwad. Bad PR request. Ugh. Some days we have good days. Other days we have bad days. Okay. Mr. I like to block the world. Let's delete these firewall rules. Ugh. So infuriating. Don't know what you're doing. You hadn't tested your damn script. Don't submit it as a pull request. All right, anyways. Going forward, we're going to be using a dev branch for our commits. Lesson learned. Bad things happen for learning. Failure is a good thing. Failure is a wonderful thing. All right, so that's done. And give me Moonlight back. All right, we're back. Messed up. All right. So anyways, the NetSH advanced firewall rules, I really liked that code. And it was really neat how he put it in there. It's just that he blocked like the world. And that pretty much meant I had to hook up an HDMI cable and get that in here. So I came in here. I usually sort by enabled or disabled. Sometimes you'll see at the very start, you might have something like this and see what ports are coming through. So I sorted, found the rule that was added through NetSH, deleted that, and then got my Windows back. All right. So it was a fun experience. Let's come back into here. Go back through our pull request. On to the next pull request. Let's see. What do we have? Installed that. Add GUI. I don't think he's ready for the pull request. He's just got it queued up. Add WaterFox install. I'm not a big fan of WaterFox, to be honest with you. Nah. Yeah. Not a fan of WaterFox. Nope. All right. We need to create a new branch. Oh, and I also need to look at GitHub and put in pull requests where it forces people to use a test branch. I don't know how to do that just yet, so I'll probably have to look at why that is. This is okay, yeah. This is actually a problem. Like if we look at our script here, let's go ahead and pull this back up, shall we? Alrighty. So if we look at Adobe Reader, installing Adobe Reader, no package input criteria found. So this is actually, they changed the ID of it. So this is actually a good pull request. I say it's a good pull request, but is it? Yeah, we're gonna go ahead and commit this to master just because it's only changing this line of code, and this line of code right now is broken on master, so it's not like it would block everything like this other bad pull request we did. Tweaked a few things. Oh no. Let's see what we have. I have a feeling this is a nuke the world commit. Ah. All right. We have another netsh block Windows telemetry. No. That's a CMD file, so it's not the end of the world. Disabled TLS protocols. Why would you do that? No. I mean, it's a PS1 script. It's not actually being referenced in the other one. Again, writing to a host file from thickthighs.de. I'm kind of out on that. That sounds super sketch. CPU processor count, robocopy. That one's actually okay. Individual service disabler, blah, blah, blah. Disable hardware acceleration. Really would never do that. RAM reducer, that's actually been baked in. Known issues. README. And it really hasn't. I mean, everything's just like README changes and then individual script updates. I don't even know if it's worth commit. Some of the README is probably nice. Some of this other stuff, I'm just like, kind of out on it. It's interesting. Close pull request. We're gonna not allow that one. Let's create a new branch after we're done with all this. Oh, that's the same one. Have Git. Yeah, I always install Git as well. Let's see if files changed. He's changing all the draw distance. Yeah, he's modifying that to add Git. Install Git for Windows. We could add Git. Probably what I'll do, if you're installing Codium, I'll probably just add Git as well. Just because if you're using Codium, you're probably using Git. Or if you're using GitHub Desktop, I think GitHub Desktop actually installs Git on the back end. Maybe not. Let's take a peek. Either way, this is not going to be an accepted pull request because of how it's done. I like the idea of it. I like the idea of this pull request. I'm going to bake this into GitHub Desktop button instead of another installer. Thanks for the idea. Close. And then we'll just add that. We'll bake that guy into a GitHub desktop. I don't think I need that much terminal, do I? GitHub desktop. Boop, 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 boop. Oops. Installing Git and GitHub desktop. Yeah, that should do it. So we'll just bake that guy in, do our commit. Adding Git to GitHub desktop. Oh, poll origin. Interesting. All right, we did a poll. Let's just double check our poll is not messing things up. Yeah. Any other changes I see? What's this change? GitHub desktop. Oh, that's just my search. All right. We're good. Yeah, personal preferences should be forks totally. So that's kind of where it is. Like if you're installing GitHub desktop, you're gonna want Git. Honestly, you're gonna want Git if you're using like Codium or VS Code. So that's why I'm like, if you're installing these dev options and you're going through, I'll just add Git as along with it. And GitHub desktop uses its own binary. It's interfacing with Git, but it doesn't actually have Git. But again, if you're using GitHub desktop, typically you're not just using GitHub desktop. You're gonna want Git. So that's kind of where I'm at. Git commit, add Git to GitHub desktop via Git. It's true. So good. You know it, man. I occasionally look down every 30 minutes or so. Oh, man. Thanks, Sparky. Making me laugh. All right. So that's old Windows script. We've cleaned up our pull request from 10 to about 2. This is like an old request from like 2021. I like referencing this pull request because it has a bunch of like obscure stuff in it that I'll eventually maybe go through. Can't stop disable Windows Defender. That's not me. That's Microsoft doing Microsoft stuff. They added an anti-tampering thing in the last couple of revisions. We could probably go through some of the issues, but we finished some code review here. Let's pop over to another project. How's old Chris Titus doing? That's another big one that has a ton of forks and tons of stuff. Whoa, we got a 17 pull requests over here. There's one guy I usually always check to see if he has a pull request, and I don't see him over here. So he probably might have gone on. Holy smokes. This one's starting to get away from me. Let's start going through some of these pull requests. Typically, it's probably best to come from the bottom and go to the top. Kleinman. Resolves. Redo pull, redo fetch, and recommit. Let's say you have I see that there's just so much that has changed since this pull request has gone in. The pull request, I think, how long ago was that? March 2nd. So it's seen about a month and a half. There's been other stuff. I'm not sure we want to. I don't understand that pull request. So let's move on. I wish you'd consolidate all these pull requests. But then again, it'd probably end up being like a nuke the world type situation. What do we have? Changing checkout action. Sure. That's fine. Oh, let's do that. It's just deleting some reference markdowns, not a big deal. This is an echo. It's mainly for debug purposes. Time. Adding his notes in, which, I mean, not really much there. Minimal install. He's adding a couple different things to this. Looks like it's commenting out all that. Again, this is more personal preference. Again, he's commenting out all of these packages. I don't see it. I can't really use that. Like, there's just so many changes. I can't do that. Useless pseudo. Is that a useless pseudo? I think it is, actually. That's probably fine. Let's edit this. Switch this to the test branch. Change base. Files changed. Oh, crap. All right. It's making my brain hurt. All right. Yeah, I've been good, Sparky. Doing well. Just been busy, as usual. What else we got? An ideas box. That would be good. Does the crypto space still hold your interest? Yeah. Here, I'll go to chat. Let's just chat for a second. Does chat work? Yeah, chat works. Here. Yeah, so to Sparky's point here, I don't ever talk about cryptos or NFTs or any of it because I think the whole space, especially the public space of it, is awful. And I used to think maybe the projects and things in the crypto space could be accessible by normal people, and I just lost all faith in that after I saw so many scams. And if anything has NFT attached to it these days, it just means that you're gonna get fleeced or it's a scam. It's just scam. it's just gotten real scammy to where I don't like to talk publicly about it anymore at all. Even on the crypto channel, occasionally I'll pop in and make a video, but only if it has some utility to normal people that might help folks and maybe prevent a scam from happening. So I don't really post there very much. I think the next one I'm going to post was specifically to your point, Tanmay, is the traditional finance sector is really interesting right now when it comes to a lot of the stable coins and what's happening in the US dollar, is specifically the interest rates in I think anybody that has a savings account knows how much of a joke interest is for traditional banking. And what happened was the stablecoin crypto space filled in that gap to where you could act as a bank and get pretty good interest rates. And I've been doing this for many years now, to where I can get about 8% on a stablecoin, which means dollars, right? I'm able to get 8% interest on all my savings in those stable coins. And this used to be done through entities or companies, like Celsius was one, BlockFi was another. You've probably heard of them. All this has gone away. Regulation stepped in and basically said, unless you're a accredited investor, which means you have typically over 200,000, in excess of $200,000 worth of income per year, or you have over $1 million worth of liquidity at your disposal, you cannot be an accredited investor. So I loved how these systems were set up in the beginning many years ago, and was part of that. And I loved being able to access and having normal folks get good returns on their savings, because you're basically acting as a bank. But government regulation has stepped in, and I don't know if it's corruption or what, but it's maybe real negative in the space about crypto, and them locking it behind these paywalls where the rich get richer and the poor get poorer. It just reminded me of how our traditional finance system works. So I have gotten real negative about it. If I can't be positive about something, I don't like making videos about it. So I never really talk about crypto or any of that anymore. Still in the space, and I make a good bit of money in the space, but there's no crypto project that I think anybody should be investing in right now. I think the bear market's upon us, which is good. I love these things, and I can spend my time still doing stuff in the crypto space. I've been doing a lot of Cardano stuff lately, but nothing that warrants a video or public, just because it's all, nobody's gonna make money on it right now in the traditional sense. It's just I'm more interested in the replacement of many of the traditional financial systems and opening it up to the rest of the world and waiting for those regulations to catch up. So right now I'm just kind of more in a holding pattern. So I'm not like buying or selling anything, nothing like that. Even though I did quite a bit of that last year. Right now, a lot of it is just holding and farming stable coins for their, 8 to 12% yield. Some of them are less. I think like Compound, I have a little bit of that, like 4% yields, but the whole space itself in the public sector has just gotten so scammy. And then also the regulators coming in and just kind of imposing their will and locking out the average day Joe kind of pissed me off too, to where I'm just really upset about it. But if you're in Europe, you can still do it. I think BlockFi and Celsius still does it, and other places of the world. It's just here in America where we have probably the most corruption in our financial system. I'm the author of Tweaked a Few Things, Resolved a Few Issues, Pull Request, and many complaints you had for the added stuff was stuff already in the script. Remove the trailing white space on the lines. Also, the script I added was recommended issue. Okay. Yeah, I forget what it was, but I don't know if it was that. I didn't mean to holler at you. I was just mad that it locked me out of my game stream, and my VNC stopped working because of the firewall addition. So I don't know if it was something that was added. But anyways, I still kept parts of that pull request. Do you agree people say about the year of the Linux desktop will never happen? Yeah, kind of. Like when it comes to the Linux desktop, there will never be the Linux desktop community itself. There's never going to be like an Ubuntu or a Fedora or an Arch that ever is used by average day folks. It's always going to be a 1 to 2% of the population. However, it's not to say there's never going to be the year of the Linux desktop, but that desktop's going to be like a Steam OS or a Chrome OS. It has to have support so your average person can pick it up and use it and actually get support for it. And you just won't get that unless you have like a major company behind it that also locks things down to where you can't change them. And at that point, is it really Linux desktop anymore? I'd argue not. So no, there will never be the year of the Linux desktop in the way people think. However, it's not to say it won't happen, and it won't be some Linux-based desktop or distribution. It's just not going to happen the way people envision it. Taxes, yeah. I just did my taxes. That was a nightmare. But luckily, I found a couple tax people that were excellent, and I got lucky. So that. Stablecoin examples. This is when you peg a cryptocurrency to the dollar. So let's say the dollar's worth $1. You can always take one stablecoin and trade it in for $1. A stablecoin means it doesn't go up in value, but it doesn't go down in value. An inherent risk with stablecoins is that the entity that is pegging that stablecoin will, they say, hey, whenever they trade, they'll say, hey, we'll give you this coin or this token, and for that, I'll take your $1, right? And then the idea is you give them back that token, and then they give you that dollar. This is what's the basis of a stable coin. And there's a lot of other shenanigans that happen with it, but that's basically the gist of stable coins. Now, relying on one entity to provide stablecoin stuff is not smart. You can look at Tether. There's a lot of videos about Tether. The evil purpose of Tether is backed by Bitfinance, Finex, and some other interesting actors that I don't think are all on the up and up, which means they might be taking more, might be issuing more Tether than they have dollars. And nobody's found out 100% that this is the case, but the idea is if there's ever a bank run on these stable coins like Tether, they will not be able to consolidate some of their corporate debt and other things that they pegged that dollar to the token with, and the whole market will collapse. So that's the inherent risk of stable coins. However, there are some more automated things that aren't backed by an entity, which means there is no centralization of some company handing out $1 for that stable coin. There's a really cool project called DAI, D-A-I, that pegs it through a bunch of different ways. Pretty complex, but the idea is it does it in a decentralized fashion to where there will always be that liquidity there to always provide that exchange, and no one person has oversight over it, so they can't do any shenanigans like you see with Tether. And there's also other ones. I think Luna's one, and there's also more US-based company ones that are I consider considerably more safe, like USDC, which I think is backed by Coinbase, and a bunch of other like big players in the finance space here in the States. Like I think Gemini and Coinbase. There's Gemini dollar based on Gemini, which is also another company called Galaxy, and some other people that companies that they probably don't know, but have a lot of liquidity. So there's a lot of different things happening in that space. I like to watch stable coins a lot. I don't really care about like Bitcoin and Ethereum. I think Ethereum's a trash project. I think it's going nowhere, and it's just all hype. Can't wait for everybody to lose their money in that one. I made a lot of money in the early days of it, but I don't see that going anywhere. Everyone's like, hey, Ethereum 2.0 is coming out and it's going to do a whole lot. And I'm like, no, it's not. I'm not even sure they'll ever launch 2.0. They say it's going to happen in like June or July, but it'll probably get pushed back again because most of the smart people in the Ethereum project and in the Ethereum Foundation already moved on. Anyways, yeah. Sorry, I can kind of rant on crypto for a while. I usually shoot people straight though. Yes, I've always been going for that, man. I love a fast website. Everything under a second is a win for me. Yeah. Yep, 600 million stolen. Yeah, centralized entities in the crypto space is such an interesting thing, and you run into things like that. That's why whenever you have a central entity, there's always that risk of a hack or some shenanigans or embezzlement for an interior person. There's a lot of things in the crypto space. That's why I'm like, don't. It's not to say the whole space is scammy, but most of it is. And yeah, there's some, like I said, it just needs to mature some more. And with any new technology, you get that. It's just don't go spending a bunch of money in that right now. It's in the early days. That is the best comment ever. I agree with you 100%, Sam. Or 2.0 launch and it'll just be full of bugs. Oh my gosh. That is so great. I'm gonna leave that comment up. I love that one, Sam. Oh man. It sounds like I'm negative on crypto. I'm really not. I really do think there's a lot of really cool projects with crypto. It needs a couple more years to mature, and a lot of people are like looking for the next big thing. Like, hey, what's the next Dogecoin that's gonna 1,000% overnight? I'm like, that's not really crypto, man. That's just trying to get in the front end of a pump and dump, and that's not what you should be doing. That's a good recipe to lose money. I'm more of a traditional finance guy. I'm a slow and steady kind of person. The truly wealthy people don't get rich overnight. You should be looking for the 8-10%, maybe 20% gains at the absolute maximum. If anything's over 20% in a return, I'm immediately going, oh, that's too risky, because that means the downside is equal or more to that. So I'm more slow and steady when it comes to finance stuff. Thank you, Sparky. That was a big one. Like learning Hugo and Netlify and that Python script you did back when I was using WordPress, is I think when we did the initial launch in 2019, I remember I had a bunch of WordPress files, and I remember I was sitting there changing them, and then you saw what I was doing on a stream, and you wrote me a Python file that fixed a lot of those bad WordPress files. Man, it saved me probably days of work, which was amazing. Yeah, its abuse is bad. But like I said, any new technology that exists, think of the early days of the internet, think of a lot of those early days, you see a lot of abuse. It just needs more time to cook in the oven, so to speak. Yeah, that's so true. Can you use it? That is the big thing. I would say more than like 80%, but 20% for sure. Yeah, I always wondered about that. A good YouTube alternative. Oh, it's a hard thing to do. I think Odyssey is the closest thing that was close to a YouTube alternative. I just really didn't like the people behind Odyssey, and I got really bad taste in my mouth from them to where I just stopped uploading there. But I'm curious to see where it goes. I hope another person succeeds, or another YouTube-esque light service does get some more mass market appeal. I just don't know if who it'll be. And until that case, like when a lot of people are like, why don't you post here or this service? And a lot of times I'm always like, I would rather push people to my own website, because I know my website will be there in 10 years. Fill in the blank service, I can't say that. If I feel like I find a service that's going to be around in 10 years, I totally will be uploading there. But there's no other service other than YouTube that I think will be in existence in 10 years. So that's why, like, every video at the end you'll see christitus.com, because I control it end to end, and I can put whatever I want up there and it'll live there forever, or as long as I want it to live. And that is amazing. And that's why, like, anytime I push anybody outside of YouTube, it's to my website, because I know will always be up. Yeah, I tried it. It was interesting. It worked. It's kind of, but it's a centralized entity at that point. So I was like, I'd rather just stream on YouTube. Creators, I don't know about creators. My big thing was their marketing department. They did some really big shenanigans with some guy. The company behind it, Odyssey and the LBRY protocol, also got investigated by the SEC about securities fraud, specifically sending a bunch of LBRY tokens to Bittrex and then converting that to money. I actually had about 100,000 tokens that they were supposed to issue, and the back end, it just like never happened. So that's why I was like, there's some shenanigans. Like, people think that the LBRY protocol is completely decentralized, and it's extremely centralized. So I feel like Odyssey and the LBRY hoodwinked everybody into believing it's decentralized when it's not. And it's all controlled by one entity. And the decision makers over at LBRY and Odyssey have done some extremely questionable things in the finance space. They've also done some extremely questionable things in the morality space of who they promote. They've promoted some very, very shady characters, and it was enough to where I said I don't want to be on this platform. And I've also had some bad actors send me some threats and other bad things from that platform, and I was like, I don't want to be a part of this. And that's why I was like, I'm done with it. So I don't like the Odyssey. I don't like LBRY. I think the whole thing is not what people think it is. So that's why I don't do anything over there. YouTube, I think the great quote is, the devil you know is better than the devil you don't. And I know the devil of YouTube pretty well. And the more I learned about a lot of these other services, the less I liked. And, that's all I'll say on this subject. Yeah, I still have some other stuff. Axios. I was actually going to do a complete script using Fedora from a server thing to set it up. Yeah, float plane. There's always float plane. I could hit up old Linus and be like, "Hey, Linus, hey, it's the guy that criticized you when you used Linux." Yeah, I bet he. Linus is pretty cool though. I bet he'd be okay with that. If I wanted to put videos over on Floatplane, I could do it. Nebula. It's like a float plane alternative. The main thing with it, like what Linus is doing with float plane, with Nebula that you see, it's a front end for you to go to do it. And I'm trying to put this, I'll put it in a business perspective, because I think of things in this kind of perspective. If I were to create content for another platform, I would need a way to probably monetize it to make it worth my time to do that. And if I'm going to push people to another platform, I need to make sure that platform's stable. Floatplane and Nebula are new-ish. I'd say they're probably the more established, and it's more of like a members video platform. Now, it becomes an issue of like, hey, is there any benefit of me uploading videos and then charging you like $5 a month or whatever it might be over there? To which that company will take a cut of that $5. Yeah, no, not really, because nobody's going to find me from that platform. So there's no discoverability. So they're going to take a cut of me uploading videos. It just doesn't make any sense for me, because why would I do that when I could just make my own platform and then just say, hey, go to christitus.com or cttstore.com or whatever it might be, and just pay there, and then I'll just upload a bunch of exclusive content. That makes more sense for me. Too many people get wrapped up in wanting to be part of like the new YouTube or a new social media platform. And I think you just use whatever platform's the biggest, because why YouTube's so beneficial, why YouTube's so awesome, is because there's so many people. If their people weren't here, then there's no point of YouTube, because you could just do that independent. And that's the same thing goes for these other platforms. There's no point in trying to raise up another platform when nobody's there. You could just make your own platform and do that, which I've pretty much done. You know, if you go to cttstore.com, it's pretty much finished. And all my members, I upload a monthly members video over there, much like I do for the members on YouTube. And I could upload exclusive content. I could do courses. I could do a whole variety of things. It could be its own Skillshare if I ever got really ambitious. Yeah, for the same reasons I just said. Probably not. Unless there was like an overall like float plane plan, and they gave sharing based on, you know, if you paid like $9.99 a month and you got Linus exclusive and all these other creators, and it started to be part of that. But I wouldn't want to push people to float plane for just to watch my content. That just doesn't make sense. I can host my own content and then cut out float plane. There's no purpose of doing it, is what I'm saying. Yeah, it's hard to believe George Orwell and a lot of like 1984 and all that, it was written like in the 50s and 60s. Like, talk about Nostradamus. It's kind of scary. I read 1984, I think, last year, and I remember reading it and I was like, oh my gosh, it's much scarier than George Orwell made it out to be. I know it seemed pretty scary with a lot of the political parties of 1984. Some of that was hammed up for sure, for just being interesting. But you look at Doublethink and some of the other premises of George Orwell, or the Orwellian type things, and some of it's so much easier than he made it out to be. Like, he was using like vacuum tubes for messages and things like that. I'm like, man, all that's digital now, and so much of it is controlled. Some of it is already here. You know, a lot of the Orwellian future has already arrived, and much worse than he predicted. Obviously, the political aspects aren't nearly as diverse, even though it's definitely trending that way, than 1984, but awesome book. I love 1984. There's a lot of premises there that can be very applicable to today's world. Well, you know, it was a warning, not an instruction guide. Little did you know that a lot of people treated it like an instruction guide. No, I would not. I'm pretty optimistic. A lot of technology, I think, can be used for the greater good, and a lot of it is misused for sure, but not for the sole purpose. I think on its end, most of what we experience today, I think our quality of life is better than it was 10 or 20 years ago. How I think of a dystopia is, would you rather be living 30 years ago or 20 years ago than today? And I think overwhelmingly, the most of the population would say, no, I'd rather live today. So I would not say we're in a dystopia. I think you just have to be cautious of some of the things that are happening in the world today, and just be cognizant of, privacy and those types of things aren't. If you live in a city, it's just not really a thing. You don't have any privacy, and it's less of what it used to be back then. And I think really, if I could change something in the next 5 to 10 years, in my future, I would like to see the downfall of all social media. I'd like to see every social media company go belly up or get regulated to death. I would love that. Yes, I know that means I would no longer have any revenue from YouTube, but I think it would be better for society as a whole if we saw Google, YouTube, TikTok, Facebook, every single form of social media disappear. I think society, it would be a lot better off. Instagram, LinkedIn, I could keep going. Social media platforms, I think, inherently are awful inventions. And the only thing about YouTube that I'd say is probably the best social media platform out of all of them, but too often is it a time waster than it is beneficial. And I'd like to see that swing the other way, where people get on YouTube to learn something new or educate themselves. And I think that would be great. It's not to say that doesn't happen, because I educate myself through YouTube sometimes, but more often than not, I waste more time on YouTube than I'd care to admit. But yeah, no, I totally get that what I just said would completely kill everything. I would say that I'd be okay with that. But then again, you're talking to somebody that has a considerable amount of skills to go make money doing other things than YouTube. It's just right now, this is very easy. Don't let YouTubers fool you. This is a pretty cush job, if you want to call it that. And yeah, I couldn't imagine, that this lasts forever. I don't think in 10 years, or I hope in 10 years, I'm not still doing this, because YouTube is gone defunct. But if it doesn't, I'll probably still be here, because at the end of the day, I'm human, and us humans, we like to do what's easy, and YouTube's pretty darn easy. Anywho, back to the tech banter. Yes. And actually, that's one thing, Peter. Surprisingly, Apple, of all people, as you know, I never miss an opportunity to bash Apple. But I will say Apple's done a fantastic job of really sticking it to Facebook. I love that. Like, their privacy thing that they did with the iOS cost Facebook billions of dollars. And Android and Google are not far behind instituting those same privacy things, to where they won't allow specific things being shared through Facebook and Facebook's app. Pretty soon that'll go live, and that's going to be more billions out of Facebook's pocket. Out of all the big tech companies, I root for the downfall of Facebook the most. I think they've done the most harm out of any company in existence. One can only hope. Who knows? You never know. Mark Zuckerberg might get on his little motorized surfboard again and go do just that. Oh, man. All right. Well, I'll go ahead and shut it down for today. Thanks all for stopping by. I know this actually ended up getting a little bit more political than usual, but I still try and stick more on the technology side of things. And should be fun. I definitely will look more into the pull requests on GitHub. And tomorrow's video, I'm going to be going over Odyssey and just kind of seeing how that goes. I will look at improving my workflow a bit more, but I'm going to probably publish an article later today and then also record the Odyssey or the Obsidian. I'm sorry, I was talking about Odyssey so much, but Obsidian later today as well. Oh man, you detox from Windows gaming. I've been sober for 2 years. I think that's a good way to end this stream. I'm still a junkie. Still love my gaming in Windows. Maybe someday. Maybe someday. All right, y'all. Take it easy. Have a great weekend. Hope y'all have a fantastic time. And see you guys next week. And be looking for the video tomorrow for Obsidian notes, kind of seeing my workflow. I'll try and organize a lot better than I did on this stream, because this stream was kind of a hot mess as I started it early. Next Friday, I'm just going to go back to the 9 o'clock and then have that ramp up period of time, because whew, me in the morning early, never a good thing unless I have like a set of instructions to talk about, as I just go all over the place. So if you sat through this whole thing, my hat is off to you. Love you guys. Take it easy. Have a great one. Is that just a black screen? Wow. What? Refresh? No? Oh, there it is. Holy smokes. All right. Oh, no. Oh, there it goes. Oh, ideas box. For sure, Sparky. That way we can add ideas and vote on already submitted ones. All right. Hey, hit me up on Twitter, man. As far as, like, what do you think I should use on the back end on that? That'd be great. All right, y'all. Take it easy. I'm into it now. For real this time. For real. Done. End. Right now.